Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, Deputy Mayor online there. Please be seated while Councillor Griffiths delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, this is my last council meeting, and it's a real pleasure to honour the Lord our God for this one last time, which is very important to me. So I just want to let you know that. Lord, be with us, be with this council, and may this council continue to deliver a great place for our community. With rates, with recreation, make this a happy place for the people who live here. May the culture continue to be a healthy and helpful place for the community we serve. Also, Lord, and say thank you for the guidance you have given us in our decision making, and also for the very great service we have from the city staff, a dedicated group of people who give our community such good service. So today, Lord, I say thank you for all the blessings you have given this council, and may you continue to do so. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths, and I'll ask Councillor Dewhurst to conduct acknowledgement of country. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We stand on the cherished land of the Whadjuk people, original stewards and protectors of the splendid country, whose wisdom has nurtured its vibrant life. Alongside them, we honour diverse communities, European, Asian and beyond, who have also cared for this land, each contributing to the thriving and inclusive nation we celebrate today. Together, let's respect and acknowledge each other's individuals' part in fostering the land's beauty and strength. United, we commit to caring for this country for the sake of our children and the children after them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. It's 7:01. I now declare the meeting open. There are no announcements of visitors. Disclaimer, members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time as they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Record of attendance, we are all here tonight. Very good. Are there any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest. Announcements by the presiding member. I will just have a short few words here, as it is potentially my last meeting as Mayor. So as this marks my final council meeting for my current term of Mayor, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to my fellow councillors. Over the past 2 years, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you all, and it's just great to be working with such a dedicated and supportive group of people. And this has also been evident to the community as I've received many words of praise for the whole council on how well it has been working. So well done to you all. I also want to acknowledge and appreciate the valuable contribution of the CEO and the directors. CEO and Director Blake's not here tonight, unfortunately. I'm sure the councillors will agree when I say that we would not have been such a well-oiled machine, as referred to once by Liam Ducey, without your knowledge and guidance. So thank you all so very much for that. Thank you. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Courtney Mazzini and Christine King, the dedicated PAs to the directors and all our remaining staff. Your hard work and contributions have been essential to our achievements, and so thank you for everything that you do, other staff. To Councillor Griffiths and Councillor Patterson, who have chosen not to renominate, on behalf of the City, I want to express my deepest gratitude for your valuable service. Your dedication and contributions have made a significant impact, and you'll definitely be missed. I have got some further words here to say about Councillor Griffiths and Councillor Patterson, but I note that Councillor Griffiths is going to say a few words himself in a minute, and so will Councillor Patterson, as will other councillors to be invited. But I did get a list of all the things that you've been on in the 26 years you've been here, Councillor Griffiths, and it is quite long and distinguished, so well done to you. I wasn't going to read them all out, but that's a lot of boards and committees to have been on over that time, so very much well done. And Sarah, whilst you were only here for a short 4 years, you were definitely impactful and definitely entertaining and a very valuable councillor, so well done to you as well. So to Deputy Mayor Adam Hort, Councillor Aaron Adams, Councillor Glenn Dewhurst and Councillor Emma Zhang, who are in the process of seeking re-election, I wish you every success. Your commitment to our community has been evident, and I genuinely hope to see you all return for the next council meeting to continue the great work you've started. In closing, I'm extremely proud of what we've all achieved together, and I believe the city is a better place for our joint efforts. Thank you all for your support, friendship and dedication. Thank you so much. That is me. Reports of delegates. This might be where councillors that are up for election might like to say a few words if they would, or up for re-nomination, might like to say a few words. Councillor Adams? I'm okay. Can we get that in the minutes?
Okay. I'm okay.
Councillor Dewhurst, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, yeah, it's been a interesting ride over the last 12 years, and I initially joined council because the previous mayor, Owen Searle, said if I didn't like it, put my hand up in the next round, and I did, and got in with the help of Councillor Griffiths and the team at the time, and yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. And I honestly do feel, though, without the executive team that we've had here and that's been built under the leadership of Ian Cowie, our city would be certainly very different. I know a lot of us, past and present, have had differences, but that's what makes council up. If we all thought the same way, it would be very boring. We'd probably get nothing achieved. And so I thrive on that challenge. Now, if you want to look up there, I prepared a video that you can just see, just chuck it on there. I can't believe you guys looked. No video. I was watching the ladies up there starting to go, oh my God, where's this video, you know? So look, it's been a very interesting time, and I love it. I mean, I don't like change. When councillors have left over time, even though if I haven't seen eye to eye with them, I don't like to see them leave. I mean, a couple of councillors, we didn't see eye to eye very well, and when they did leave, I actually had left a little bit of a hole for me, because I just like the way we go, because we could have some really robust arguments, but as soon as you walk through that door there, you know, what are you doing for the weekend, and you know, that sort of stuff. There was no real malice held behind it, and again, that's what our community deserves and expects, that we have their own opinions, and it's been an absolutely fabulous ride. Whether I get up over next time, you know, be it. I hope the fellow councillors we certainly get up, but I must say though, I'm very impressed with the 22 applicants that we've got. I think there's a lot of people there that can actually do just as good job, if not better job, you know. No, not better job, no. But certainly there's some really good candidates there that will certainly thrive, and I wish them all the luck for that. So thank you very much, Madam Mayor, and thank you, councillors, for putting up with us and for the good time. And if I get in, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. If I don't, I'll drive past 6 kilometres an hour, throw my keys over the fence, and we'll be on there and on to new things. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Griffiths?
Okay, councillors, I came to council in 1995, so I've been here 26 years, and I've served on very many different committees and functions of council. My achievements over that time, when I first came to council, I was asked to come to council. My first thing I focused on was establishing a horse trail through the Darling Range, that was the first thing I did, which was great. It could have been better, but it was good enough. Another big thing I did was the Mannington Golf Course. I don't know if you know, we had a Mannington Golf Course. It was the Royal Mannington Golf Course, and it was going to be sold, and it was going to be divided up into housing blocks. And myself and the community decided that we would try and keep that as a recreation space. The Manning Golf Course was the place I took my wife on my first date. So it had a soft spot in my heart, you see. So anyway, Mannington, as we know, as history has proven, the old Mannington Recreation Ground, which is on Kelvin Road, was inadequate, in my opinion, to serve the future needs of the city, of the Mannington area, whereas the golf course had plenty of area and it could fulfil the needs for the people well into the future. So it now has become Harmony Fields, which is a great outcome instead of more housing, which we need some green spaces. And it was quite convenient that we had Mills Park, we have Harmony Fields, we've got Sullivan's Park, and we've got Tom Bateman. And we've got those big recreation areas that are just beautifully situated within the city of Gosnells. So as far as travel goes, everybody doesn't have, wherever they live, they have a reason, not too far a distance to travel. Another thing that I was involved in was the police station at Canning Vale. As a councillor in the when we had our chambers over there, I I was talking to a senior policeman, and he said to me, Gosnells is short of a police station. The statistics say Gosnells should have another police station. And so I said, well, thank you very much. I'll use that bit of information, which I did. And I moved various motions at council to pressure Michelle Roberts, who was a police cabinet member at the time, that we should have a new police station in Canning Vale, because we had a lot of crime problems. And I got a lot of flack from various members of the party, but eventually it got through. Eventually, I remember the last motion I moved at council was that council call a meeting with Michelle Roberts to discuss the need for a police station in Canning Vale. Lo and behold, never happened, but there was an announcement there was going to be a police station in Canning Vale. So Michelle Roberts didn't come and see us, but we got the police station, which was great. And now another thing I was involved in was I was here when Gary Whiteley, our long-time chief CEO, he was a thorough gentleman, and he was council chief executive officer for many years. So he was here, and when we had old structure was the old Roseboard type structure, and we changed that structure from that to just more of a corporate model, which we have now. So I've seen a lot of changes, and in those days, council didn't have the capacity. It's a funny word, isn't it? They didn't have the capacity to take on the really big jobs. But now, as a result of our evolution, we have certainly got the capacity to do almost anything. This council is an excellent example of a local government. And I know it takes time. It doesn't happen in a day. It shows you, it's taken 26 years to become an overnight success. Have you ever heard that expression? So anyway, we are really doing well, and we've gone from the old Shire Council model to the corporate model, which has delivered us so much for our community. Another thing that some years back, you probably won't remember this, well, some of you will, but we had a waste-to-energy recycling facility which was called the SWERF. It was something that this council was pursuing some 20-odd years ago. It was really breaking ground, and now we have the reality of it is the waste-to-energy system, which hasn't quite started yet. I would have liked to have seen that finished before I left, but it's not that far away. But that has been a long and arduous path, and we had a lot of critics along the way, but it's come a long way, and now it's going to be probably the best thing that can save, and this is really important. We have a lot of landfill sites that are contaminated, and we will continue to have contaminated sites as long as we bury rubbish into the ground. The leachate that will affect our community for generations to come, and we have got an ability to change that if sometimes you get caught up in politics, and politics are not always the best outcome for the community. And way back then, I remember one of the things we did, which was a bright idea, was to have bulk waste rubbish removal and all-night street lighting. Now, we take it for granted now, but back then it was quite cutting edge. And of course, I just remember it made a big difference to the look of our council. Now we had the revitalisation of the town centre, with the shifting of the railway station, all the movement around town with the building of the Gosnells and all that stuff that we planned. We had the cabinet meeting with the state government here with Richard Court, when Richard Court was Premier, and his cabinet in this area just here. And as a result of that cabinet meeting and discussions with the Premier, we embarked on the beautification of Gosnells, which was a big deal at the time. Now, during this period of time, I lost my seat at one election. And during that time, I got together with a number of our local business people, and we established a branch of the Bendigo Bank in Gosnells. So I thought that we sat in the train carriage at the Gosnells Hotel there, weekly, and we slowly formed the Bendigo Bank. And when we got it all done, we went out, put out a prospective, and we went out and raised a lot of money, which I did raise a lot of money. And I can say I wasn't on council at the time, so I don't have to declare an interest. But anyway, we raised the necessary money to kick off the bank, which was in Gosnells. Now it's in over in Canning Vale there. So other things we did was of course, revitalisation of Mills Park, which was a long and ongoing process, and it ended up absolutely beautiful. If you saw it before and after, you wouldn't think it was the same place. Council has just come on so much, and I've got to thank our directors of infrastructure, Dave Harris, and our current director, and all those people in that area who did so much good work in delivering such an outstanding facility. And I know with the Sullivan's Park, it'll be the same. It's just a matter of getting to that point in time. Another thing that when I was mayor, by the way, when I was mayor for 2 terms. I was talking to the Thornley Bowling Club, and they had a view to improve their facilities, which I spoke with them and with Robbie Watkins, who is absolutely dynamite and is a really great organiser with that sort of organising those sort of steps forward. And we achieved the Men in Gold Bowling Club grade and the tennis courts, and what a great thing that has been for the area. Now, during my time in council, when I think my second term, I became the deputy mayor to Pat Morris, and I was mayor for 4 years. One of the reasons I came to council was my grandfather in 1916, his name's on your honour board out there, was on council. He died in 1946, a long time before I was born. I didn't ever know him, but he did so much for the earliest part of the city of Gosnells. If you ever read the Gosnells story, you'll see his name comes up there time and time again. When he raised the money to build the War Memorial, which was over here, the Gosnells football stand, and many, many things in Gosnells. If you read the story, it's quite interesting. So I was really pleased to follow in his footsteps, and also my son Peter Griffiths, he was on council from 2013 to 2017, and he had a great young, fresh approach, and it was really good. And it's not unlike you young folk coming on now. I must say it's quite interesting. It's quite exhilarating to have that fire of youth, which I'm losing, unfortunately. So it's sad to say goodbye to all the friends that I've made over the years. But it's time to let the younger ones, with a fresh approach, and as my health is deteriorating, it's probably a good time for me to go. But I would like to say, I don't know if I think I've got to say to you, if when you work for the people, when you don't work for yourself, you work for the good of the community, you can do wonders. I'd say this environment that we've had, I've always got on very well with our CEOs, and I have found them to be really great. And I found our structure is just getting better and better, and I don't like to spoil anybody, but I want to pick on our current CEO. And I've got to, I'm very sorry, Ian, but you have impressed me with your abilities. And having said that, I have got on really well with all our CEOs, and I'm on friendly terms with all of them, and can ring up the phone anytime and talk to them. So that's about it. Sorry to talk so long. So thank you all for the company and all the good times you've had, and may you and the new council coming on continue to do such good jobs, work for our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Deputy Mayor Hort, you got to follow on from that.
Yeah, it's a tough one to follow up on. Dave's done so much, hasn't he? It's incredible. I just briefly just want to say it's been an absolute honour being a councillor in the city of Gosnells, and wanted to thank everyone who voted for me and everyone that supported me over the years. Second to that, I just wanted to thank the council for selecting me to be the deputy mayor 2 years ago. That too has been an honour and a privilege, and I've never taken it for granted. So thank you. Thank you to the Mayor, Teresa. It's been an absolute ball working with you over the last couple of years. Hopefully have the opportunity to do the same again, but if we don't, it's been a blast, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thoroughly enjoyed seeing you lean into the new role, and watching you flourish and demonstrate your incredible leadership. So thank you, Madam Mayor. To the wonderful city staff, I still don't really know much about local government. You guys teach us so much every day. It's a steep learning curve, and 4 years, I think I've learnt a lot, but then I'm always surprised at how little I do know. So thank you to you all, to Ian, to Grant, to Martin, for the coffees explaining to me how asphalt works, and aggregates, and all sorts of other things that I probably don't have to know as a councillor, but quite enjoy learning about. To Chris, who tolerates my not knowing anywhere near enough about planning, and to Maxine as Glenda's proxy, for all your leadership in that area as well. I think did I say everyone? Ian, Grant, everyone. Oh, you're all amazing. So yeah, look, thank you very much to my councillors, especially those that are leaving. Dave, it's been an honour serving with you on council after your many years. Sarah, I'm going to miss you. No, there's no two ways about it. It was a blast running with you in the election 4 years ago, and it's been really fun being a councillor. To the rest of you, my councillors, fellow councillors who are going for election, I'm sure I'll see you on the flip side. So thank you. It's been an honour and a privilege serving with you all. And I'm really optimistic looking at the candidates who've put their hands up for the future of this city. I think no matter which way this election goes, the future's bright, and we will have a council that reflects our community, and a city staff who's willing and able to listen to it. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. You have to be here for 26 years to get a round of applause, by the way. Little one? Sorry, Councillor Dewhurst. Actually, I want to. Councillor Patterson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Gosh, it has been the most fun. When I say to people at local government events and they ask, oh, how do you go with council? And I'm like, we're all best friends. It's been the best. They think you're joking. This has been the best 4 years. To sit on council, I think it was 5 mayors I've served on council with. And to get here, and it is so intimidating. And for anybody who's running it, don't underestimate, it's really intimidating. And yet we were absolutely snuggled, Poppy Dave, all the way through with answers to absolutely anything. I had the immense privilege of sitting, with Owen Sell, who I lovingly call Nana Sell, who the whole way through had the answer to every question. There was nothing you can't ask of the staff or each other, and there's no silly question. It has honestly been the greatest pleasure and privilege. It really has. More than 10% of my life I've been on City of Gosnells. It's not 26 years, but it feels like a lot, and feels like just yesterday. So it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege, and I love all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. And Councillor Zhang.
I can't believe it's 4 years already. And during the campaign, people asked me, why you want to be the councillor? So I think that's just bring me back to 4 years ago, very wrong. And I said, why you want to be councillor? But really, it's just like I told community, I really enjoy this role. It starts from challenging, struggling, because you know nothing. You have to learn. And then in the last 2 years, I really, really enjoy, working with everyone. Everyone come from different background. We bring our own experience, knowledge to this council. We argue, debate all the time, but we're friends. I told everyone, and I say, if council is a car, the people sitting there is the engine. They're driving this car, moving forward. So really want to thank you all, our CEO, Ian, and all the directors for answering all my phone calls, stupid emails, and never get angry to me. So, yeah, with all this, so build my confidence to continuing ask questions and bring the information and share with the communities. And also want to thank you, Madam Mayor, all your leadership, your guidance, give me the very right direction and path, make me understand how can be a good counselor. The last, want to say, sitting here, one side is I feel we serve the community and also I receive the friendship. So everyone working together, sharing and look after each other, I think is very important for the council in the city of Gosnells. So thank you, everyone. If I'm back, so we can continue work together. If not, I miss you all. Thank you.
Everyone. Mr CEO, would you like to say something to the outgoing council by any chance?
Would you like me to?
Sure, why not?
That'd break a habit of a lifetime, wouldn't it? Oh, look, I think council from our perspective has worked really well, and I think I speak on behalf of all the staff in saying that I think the great thing is that we've been able to achieve so much for the community over the past 2 years. And with the plans that we've got going forward, and particularly Sutherland's Park and the indoor netball facility, as some key projects, but we've got numerous others, like the Gosnells Bowling Club and stuff. We're really making a great difference to the community. And when you think about what community engagement and have got coming up in terms of another fantastic Fusion Festival, which I'm sure will be really widely appreciated and which really does, I think, emphasise the greatness of Gosnells, which is all about our diversity and how we work so well as a diverse community and show that strength. So it's been wonderful, and appreciate councillors' support for the staff, and I know staff have been very, very grateful for your support to us.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Oh, we'll get him a clap. Sorry. Okay, moving on, and thank you to ladies and gentlemen in the gallery for giving us the indulgence of letting all the councillors speak that may or may not be returning. Okay, moving on, we'll move on to question time. We have got some questions here. The first question is from Mrs. Sandra Barriolo. Mrs. Barriolo?
Good evening, everyone. My question is would council consider at the next election period to consider having a meet your candidates? So that way all candidates can come together and everybody can ask questions and get to meet them. Thank you.
Thank you, and I, as the CEO, will still be here. I'll allow him to answer that. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that can be certainly considered.
Yep. I know it happens in other councils, so I don't see any reason why it couldn't happen here. Thank you, Mrs. Barriolo. The next question is from Mr. Brendan Cherry from 3 Time Close in Thornley. Mr. Cherry, thank you.
Cheers. Good evening. Thanks for the time tonight. And first of all, congratulations to all the councillors who put in a great performance, and to those who are leaving, all the best. My first question in regards to local government elections coming up in just over a week, how much does it cost for one candidate for mayor, whereas under the previous system, the councillors got to choose the mayor, whereas now rules imposed by the state government that there is 2 candidates. How much does that cost in total with 2 candidates for mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Cherry. I'll ask the Director for Business Services, Mr. Bradbrook, to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The question is really about what is the additional cost, I guess, of holding a mayoral election. So our elections this year will cost about $425,000. Of that amount, probably between $60,000 and $80,000 will be the cost of the mayoral election, and those costs are made up of printing and distributing ballot papers, counting the votes at the other end, and those things. So the mayoral component of the election's probably in that $60,000 to $80,000 range.
Awesome, thanks for that. My second question relates to street lighting within the city of Gosnells. So I live in Thornley and I've been advocating for an additional street light at the roundabout where Sugarwood Drive, Currajong Drive, Driftwood Court intersect in Thornley, as this roundabout currently only has one street light on a corner, as Sugarwood used to finish at Currajong as a two-way roundabout before Garden Street was built in the late 90s and then Driftwood Court was added to the roundabout. I advocated for this extra light due to the amount of traffic, young families walking their dogs and kids around. Plus, if a car was to approach the roundabout from Guard Street with its lights on at a safe speed, it could be too late if someone walks out in the dark. Also want to thank Deputy Mayor Hort for listening to my concerns and confirming that the street light is in the budget to be installed. The question to this is, when will this extra street light at the roundabout I mentioned be installed?
Thank you, Mr Cherry. I'll ask the Director for Infrastructure, Mr Glover, to respond to that question. Thank you.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. The city has actually completed the lighting design to improve the lighting levels at the intersection and has sent that through to Western Power for quotation and a program of works. We did that approximately 6 months ago. The city are now waiting on Western Power to respond. We have agreed to fund the work, so it's no impost upon the state. There are currently significant delays with all Western Power related projects, unfortunately, as much as 15 months in some situations. Therefore, it's difficult to provide an accurate timeline for their response or delivery of the works. The city has requested an update from Western Power today on receipt of your question, and unfortunately we haven't received a reply, but as soon as we do, we will let you know.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you, Mr Cherry. The next question is from Diana Gurry from 10 Blakemore Retreat in Huntingdale, I believe. If you could come forward, please.
I just have a query about docks. I haven't had poultry for a long time. I've known this gentleman on and off. Why is there such an obstruction of having them? I got them from wildlife officer down at Bustleton. He's a rescue officer. I didn't ask for them, and I've got the compliance officer on my back really heavily.
I'll ask the Director for Business Services to talk to you about what our duck policy is. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The rules around keeping poultry and ducks come from our public health local law, so they prescribe a whole range of requirements that apply to...
Before you go on, there's another thing. Will the next...
Sorry, Mrs Gurry, you'll need to wait for the Director to finish answering your initial question. Thank you.
The intention of the local law provisions is really around preventing nuisance and through odours and things for neighbours, so it does specify distances from boundaries and things that you need to keep poultry. But so I'm not sure of this particular issue. I'm assuming that it's only come to the city's attention because we would have had complaints from neighbours. Certainly the compliance officers aren't driving around the city looking for ducks, so it would have only come through complaints from neighbours, and the compliance officers, I assume, would be just trying to make sure that keeping of the ducks complies with the local law provisions.
Mrs Gurry, if you've got some further questions, the Director's happy to give you a call tomorrow about those, if that's okay with you.
The compliance officer, I asked him for a couple of things to be done and he's done nothing.
Yeah. Mr Bradbrook, would you give Mrs Gurry a call tomorrow? Thank you. We've got your number somewhere on file, so we'll give you a call tomorrow. The next question is Mr Walker. You've got 5. We've got a relatively short agenda tonight, so I'll allow the 5 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
My first question is it accurate that some election candidates did not receive invitations to a recent citizenship ceremony and were thus discriminated against because of an issue or issues with the city's IT?
I'll just let you know that as far as I'm aware, all candidates were invited to the citizenship ceremony. I'm not aware of any city issues with IT, but I will ask the Director to confirm that. Thank you, Director.
Madam Mayor, I was on leave for a couple of days at the end of last week, but no one has raised any issues with me about a problem with the IT system around invites, but I would have to have a chat to the appropriate staff tomorrow and find out if there was a problem.
I'm advised there was a problem with emails going out to Yahoo email addresses.
Okay, thank you. There could have been something to do with your server as far as it going to junk mail potentially, but that's not something the city's IT can counteract. So your next question, please.
Question 2. Is the council satisfied with the voter participation rate of almost 30% at the 2021 election?
As I speak on behalf of the council, we can only send everyone a ballot paper and encourage them to vote, but at the end of the day, it's up to the voters to vote. We would like it to be higher, I'm sure, but if that's all that want to come out, then that's up to people what they do in that space. Next question.
Is it accurate that with a voter participation rate of 30%, the election council may not be representative of the wishes of the majority of electors?
I guess that goes back to the same answer as the previous one. We can only ask people to vote, give them the tools to vote. If they decide not to vote, then that is the result that we get, what we get. So that's the answer to that one. Your next question, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If standing orders were reviewed and or amended in 2020 and 2021, why was Mrs Searle's name as Mayor not removed on one or other of these occasions?
I think it's because it's the overarching document that's been submitted to council, but that's the answer. It's the overarching document and the amendments don't change the whole document. So the Mayor of the day when the whole document was introduced is what stays on that document.
Okay. Question 5. Is it necessary to have the Mayor's name in standing orders? Why not merely the phrase "the Mayor"?
I think it's because it's a legal document. You need someone's name to it. Like I believe you have the CEO of the day as well, whoever that CEO is. So it is of the day. So that's how the document has to have someone to sign it and say, I witness this document is being submitted to the council for use.
So Mrs Searle's name is still in standing orders as the Mayor, so does she have to sign the documents?
Standing the original standing orders when they were adopted by the council. Any amendments going forward signed the Mayor of the day, but not the whole document.
Well, it doesn't say the Mayor of the day, it says Mrs Searle.
Thank you, Mr Walker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you for the obfuscation.
Are there no public statements this evening? Moving on to the confirmation of minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Dewhurst, Councillor Abetz to second that. Are there any questions on the minutes? No? Councillors, will you please cast your vote by a show of hands? Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. Councillor Good, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a petition here from a Habiba Gulzari of Mannequin Way in Maddington. The petition reads, "We, the undersigned electors of the City of Gosnells, request a barbecue area for families, park equipment such as a slide, monkey bars for the public open space area in Woodswallow Parkway, Maddington, for the following reasons. For children, physical and mental development, which is very vital, and socialising for families are also important for their mental and emotional support. Under Clause 4.8, Clause 3C, under the standing orders, I recommend that the petition be received and a report prepared for Council."
Good. Councillor Williamson's happy to second that. Councillors, if you please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Thank you, Councillor Good. Moving on, are there any applications for leave of absence? Councillor. How long would you like, Councillor Griffiths? Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. I was wondering if somebody might do that. Which due notice has been given. So no items to be brought forward, reports. So we'll move on to item 13.1. No, we will not. We'll move on to item 13.4.1, the proposed policy amendment for the Neighbour of the Year Award. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Adams to move that, Deputy Mayor Hort to second that. Any questions or debate on this item, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote then, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Councillor Good, your microphone is on. Moving on, item 13.5.1, the tender for 11/2023, the supply and delivery of concrete and HDPE stormwater drainage pipe. Can I get a mover for this? Councillor Griffiths, seconded by Councillor Williamson. Any debate on this item, councillors? Questions? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. That has been carried. Moving on, item 13.5.2, the tender for 13/2023 stormwater pipe relining. Can I get a mover? Councillor Zhang to move this, Councillor Baines to second that. Any debate or questions, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. That has been carried. Moving on to 13.5.3, the 2023 policy review. Councillor Good to move that. Councillor Patterson to second that. Any debate or questions on this item? No? Councillors, will you please cast your vote? Thank you, councillors. There are no motions. Sorry, that has been carried, yes. There are no motions of which previous notice has been given. There is no urgent business, no confidential matters. It is now 7:40 and I declare the meeting open. Well done, everyone. Thank you. I declare the meeting closed. Thank you. It's because it's got the word open here.